Just waiting on GDP rate here for Q2, 3% versus 2.4 was the consensus there for the second quarter. 2.5 was the forecast, so comes in higher than expected again. 3%, 2% on the price index quarter over quarter. Again, that's an advanced reading for Q2 versus 2.8% expected there. GDP sales huge, 6.3%. versus 1.9% expected there. Again, an advanced number for Q2. ADP employment change out earlier this morning at 8:15. Also monstrous, 104,000 to the upside versus just a 20,000 print that was expected ahead of what is to come on Friday. Remember, non-farm payrolls coming out this time on Friday morning. Make sure you're with us. Coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, pending home sales. It's Wednesday, so we get some energy data at 10:30. And then the big one, of course, coming at 2 o'clock. Well, it's probably going to be 2:30 is the big one this afternoon. Nothing's going to happen at 2 o'clock. But the questions that Fed Chair Powell is going to be asked, and supposedly anyways, going to be quite exciting to watch. I think there's a lot to understand as far as what they think of this data. He keeps saying we're data dependent. Here's a little more data suggesting maybe they don't have to be in such a hurry here.
Yeah.
GDP higher than expected here.
And it's going to be interesting to see the comments this time, Brendo, because no dot plot, no economic projections this time around. So a lot is going to be made about what he says. Yep. And expected this time around possibly 2 dissents from other members. Bowman and Waller specifically. That'll be the first time, I believe, since 93 or 98, something like that, since that we've had 2 dissenting opinions on a rate decision. So it should be super interesting to keep an eye about what happens there. Lots to talk about today. Meta and Microsoft reporting. Make sure to catch that with us on the Market Recap Show. After the bell, NVIDIA, AMD, and Broadcom all getting an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Very bullish on the AI sector. SoFi with an offering here, Brendo, down 7.5%. And oh boy, Novo Nordisk continues to slide. A different look, though, for Starbucks, up 5 3/4.
Yeah, good to see for Starbucks. SoFi, kind of interesting. After their earnings were seemingly better than expected, they come out with that offering. Not a good look this morning. Market doesn't like it. Here's the other kicker as far as the Fed is concerned. This is a quarterly number, but PCE prices, quarter over quarter, advanced number again for Q2. Downside here versus what was expected. So just 2.1% versus 2.9%. So again, we'll probably hear a lot of questions in relation to not only what's happening with GDP, but with PCE ahead of this non-farm payrolls number coming out on Friday, guys. We do get more jobs data coming up tomorrow with initial jobless claims as well. That weekly number has also been important. Whole bunch of earnings to get through as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. And ADP is probably not the... It's definitely a good number, but I don't think it's the prime thing that we're looking at for reliability when it comes to the job market. That said, it's still a good number. But I don't know, Sharif. Either they don't know, don't show, or don't care that Robinhood reports tonight. Because I know it's not as big as Meta. It's not as big as Softy. But I promise you, there's probably a lot of people that are interested in this one today. But early on, it's Coinbase stealing the spotlight because Coinbase teaming up with JP Morgan for access to be able to link up crypto and bank accounts. So they're up a percent. Okay. There's a lot of news today out of the woodwork. So Marvell was already mentioned, a deal with a South Korean company there, and day 2 plays galore. Whether it's SoFi, whether it's PayPal. For a lot of people, if you're looking short continuation, you might be thinking something like a Novo Nordisk, and UNH as well. So there's a lot to look at today. So buckle up. We've got to be excited for it. I think the Fed, they're not going to do anything. So at 2:30, we'll see how many times Powell loses his cool. Well, he's not going to lose his cool, but I guarantee you, he's probably at this point where, like, deep down, like, he's got some frustration setting in. And like Sharif said, there's some dissenters this time. Like, not everybody's on board with not cutting here, and not just the president. So, we'll see how he toes that line. If there's any change in his tone, I'm not expecting any. I think it's data this, data that, and they're waiting on the labor market. So it's really about earnings as far as we're concerned. We get the biggest earnings today.
Yeah, we got pretty You know, smart move. I'm not going to say lucky because we talked about why we sold some SoFi yesterday. I mean, lucky that obviously they didn't drop the offering the day of the earnings, but it's pretty sad that they drop it the day after. And I mean, just looking over here at SoFi, and shout out to everybody that's trading Wingstop. Wingstop right now up 20% here. But there it is, man. We sold yesterday at 24 bucks. Our SoFi position, so we could buy it back here today 20 if we really like it. So I think that's going to be a decision that we're going to have to make at some point. But SoFi there on the offering drops back in, so not a great day there for SoFi today. But I think it still goes long, right? I mean, if we like the quarter, we like the story. It reminds me of Webull, but Webull made the move back up after offering and then is hit back down there to the downside. And yeah, I didn't even realize this was happening with Marvell again here today, but this is another, you know, the last two names that we bought were Webull and Marvell. And Marvell down here, we talked about this yesterday, we're long in the 60s on this name, $64, now up to 83, and there goes Marvell right here, made its move on the sticky note today. So yeah, man, we're doing well here on the swing account, we're doing well here on our day trade accounts, and yeah, so far so good. There's the break right here that we've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this 80 marker, and there it goes. So up through the 50 period moving average, sorry, the 200 period moving average now goes Marvell. So that one we're pretty happy with on that performance. We bought it just before earnings right into here, and then now upside move as well for Marvell. So thanks, Randy, for the plums there. But yeah, so that's what's going on so far here today. Some upgrades on NVIDIA, some upgrades in AMD happening as well. So these names will be flying around one more time here. Market trying to figure it out. Randy, today we get both Canada and the United States interest rate announcements. So both expecting absolutely no movement on that. So yeah, as many, Canada hasn't changed in a while. I just wanted to, I think it's been 3 now in a row, no rate cuts for Canada. This is what we're expecting right here today. 97, almost 98% chance that there is no rate cut. So this is the current level that we're at. Even, I mean, I don't think I have to refresh it. Yeah, there it is there, 97.9. So yeah, we're gonna wait, 2 o'clock, that'll be happening. Will Randy be here around 2 o'clock is the question. Yes. Are you guys getting that delivery? Oh, you're
nice.
What, are you still working on the desks? No. Platforms. Oh yeah, okay, I was gonna say, because the desk I thought was pretty much done, so. Oh gosh, we got some platforms happening now?
Where are there gonna be platforms?
We've got to elevate you guys a little bit to replace the stage.
Oh, I thought we were gonna be all level. Oh, apparently that's muted. You have to turn it on.
Muted? That mic was ever muted?
Am I live?
I think you're live.
Yeah, woohoo.
Yeah, what are you building?
So we're building platforms because you guys are off the ground right now. That's why I'm kind of short. But yeah.
I thought that was changing. I thought we were going to be on the ground, so there would be no more platform.
Because the news desk is as tall as it is.
Oh, okay.
It's about continuity, eye level. I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm told.
Gotcha.
Caught?
You get to build stuff.
Yeah,
I'll
build
take it,
stuff.
bro.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, yeah, we're
actually,
going through all the, you're going through all the changes around here. We got the floor has been done now, so now it's a matter of getting the painting all figured out over here.
The jet black everywhere.
Should be fun. Joe's back in the building. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
He's got a smile.
Everything was all right? Vegetable trays were all right? Oh, vegetable trays were not a hit.
Well, I'm shocked at that. That's surprising. Yeah. I mean, at most bachelor parties, that's the most exciting thing is when you see that.
I'm always waiting to see, like what kind of vegetables are there. The carrots, the cauliflower. I like cauliflower. I like cauliflower. Poor Joe. But anyways, Randy, Sharif and Joe back on the midday show, which rhymes, actually, realized. All right, so yeah, Blue Jays got killed yesterday in the doubleheader to a weak Baltimore team. Like, they're selling their players.
We got a good reliever, though.
I know, thankfully. The guy walked from one dugout to the other, I saw there. Yeah, this is what Wingstop is doing. I'm going to figure out what exactly, how many orders Ramin put through over the last couple of months. But there it goes, man, right to the upside there. I just kid about, Ramin's talked about this being her favorite stock. So, yeah, it had a beat up movement. Now all the way up there, Wingstop. I have no idea what the earnings are like right there. But
we got Wingstop last time.
The wings are going right there. That's for sure. Why is everybody, who's in that chat there typing to me, or typing to all of us about Pan W? What? Okay.
Yeah, because they announced They're going to buy.
Oh, they're buying somebody, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, this is a good opportunity to buy.
It was $20 billion speculated.
Oh,
The deal.
Hey.
So it was a big chunk. That's a big enough chunk of change that you're going to drop a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was yesterday too, because yesterday
Yeah, it was yesterday. The news was yesterday. It was the rumor. Sorry, the rumor was yesterday. I didn't see anything confirmed yet.
Okay, yeah, so big time movement to the downside here for Palo Alto. Forget about that split to the downside.
Never mind. We do have details.
Okay.
So they're acquiring CyberArk. They're going to get.
Oh, CyberArk. Yeah.
There is some cash in the deal.
I did know about this.
It's 45 in cash and 220 in share, 220 per share of Palo Alto. So that's not a huge cash portion at all. $45 in cash.
This might be a decent buy down here. I mean, I really like Palo Alto. Buying best of breed stocks, always something to deal with. This is what it looks like on a more proper chart here, taking in consideration. Yes.
They dropped the
Right.
buy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, well,
thanks. Sharif was just saying that, they just, and that's why I was calling this up. They had just made all-time highs. So yes, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, I like best of breed names. If we get something down here at a discount down here, you're at 185 today, right? Yeah, 183. Yeah. So you're actually down here below right now, the 200 period. You're getting Palo Alto at a discount back to April. And I love cybersecurity space right now. I think that's something that continues to work. I'm buying Palo Alto. I might just buy some right now. I feel no kind of ways. I'm going to buy Randy a couple shares of Palo Alto.
Ooh, thanks, Randy.
There. I think cybersecurity is a thing, right?
It has to be.
A little bit of a thing.
Talk to anybody in data, like especially when you're outsourcing all this AI stuff for a lot of companies. It's like, well,
why so low?
You have to protect customer data.
They have a Canadian CDR? I don't think so.
The one thing to keep in mind with deals like this, though, is that you will see on the day one, there's always that pressure. Technically, it's traded down twice because there was a rumor. So I say it's almost like it's a day two, but let it settle down a bit. But generally speaking, if not on the first, sometimes the second day you're looking for that bounce play on the acquired. But 90% of this, almost 90% of this deal is in stock. That's why, because we knew it was 20 billion, but you might have thought that it would be cash, but it's almost all stock, and that's going to weigh on. It's just going to weigh on it more heavily. But if you get some synergies out of it, obviously cyber is going to be looking really good here. CyberArk, yeah, they're more or less where it was yesterday on the news. Actually, sometimes, they guess they got this one pretty right, because it's pretty much exactly after you announce the deal. Every now and then, it's exactly what the market decided to price it at. I always say this with caution, though. Don't assume that the arbors have it right when it's a rumor, because we've seen this before.
Arbors.
The deal. Yeah, the merger arbor.
No, I know. I like the name. That's all.
They're usually really good at what they do, but I've seen a few deals where it settles down here, and the next day they announce the terms, and it's like actually down from there, and you look like a chump because you thought it was going to be higher. It looks like they priced this one correct. I think you're going to get a value in a day or two. There might even be, if PanW goes down far enough today, you could see. Like if it does see that 180 again, it's already shown you a really good bounce. There might just be, it's not an SSR bounce play, but it's a similar principle at that kind of a low. Because it's just program selling. Like they sell it because the value's changed because they're dropping a bunch of cash. And they're using shares for the purchase. So that's just standard operating procedure. Usually you get a bounce.
Standard op. I really like. I like that opportunity to get some of that. We'll let it settle down. I mean, maybe this deal's not the greatest, and we can sort of, figure that out. But yeah, great call up there. Make sure you guys do get into the chat. I mean, that's the one thing that Neil and I, we try to pay attention to this as much as possible. Everybody does here. Joe, Sharif. I mean, the midday is huge in the chat as well. So get involved. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. It's a way to start to vote for some different stocks that we have throughout the day. We'll often have fun little polls that we put up. It's a good way to get in touch with Neil and myself, because as the market slows down a little bit, we tend to look there for some ideas. And I didn't even have Palo Alto on my radar, and here I am putting in a buy order now to buy some of this name. So yeah, I mean, get in the chat ASAP and let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of everything, the market, what trade ideas you may have. We want to thank everybody for the continued super chats that we always getting. This Eddie Sarkeesian there yesterday.
Great job by Eddie in his trades too.
Oh yeah, I mean 35 grand. I don't know. On Archon.
On Archon.
This guy's trading some big time shares over there, man.
Apparently.
I like this
he could have been trading options. I think we sort of figured there's a decent chance.
You didn't mention what it was.
I just want to point out one thing in the chat. It's always good to @ us to see if you want to tag us. But there's that thing happening. If you were here like a month ago, I think this happened before. Everybody has these ats in front, so our names in the chat are a little different. Instead of like just my name, it's like @NeilTTV. So just make sure when you're tagging somebody, it's whatever it shows up as. If you're trying to tag Sean, just start typing. Don't just do what it was yesterday. You're going to want to tag it as what shows up here.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
They're all changed. This happened before, and then it was fine the next day. But if you just started typing one of our names, you're able to tag us pretty easily. With that, let's see what else we got going on up at the desk. Big day today.
Let's do this.
YouTube does weird things. It's so weird. Very strange. BGLC, a couple of people mentioning this one as well. Big pop from 475 all the way up to 820. There was a licensing deal for BGLC announced, a little one anyway. Flying around for anyone just coming in. Let's do a quick recap here. A whole bunch of data out at 8:30. Actually, 8:15 was the first number there. Huge number on that ADP employment change number, 104,000 versus 20,000 expected. GDP growth rate, quarter over quarter, advance number for Q2, 3%. Upside from 2.5 expected there. Core PCE on the quarter over quarter number for Q2, again, 2.5%. Lower than the 2.8% expected, 2.1 on the prices, the PCE prices for Q2. So all signs pointing in the right direction as far as, I mean, the economy still, you were making the comment, the economy growing at 3% still. Yeah. And interest rates are 4.5%.
Well, you kind of get the feeling, right, that the cutting really has nothing to do with the economy or the jobs, historically low unemployment, right? You're growing at 3%. It really comes down to, for Donald Trump, you get the feeling it's about servicing that debt. Nash, obviously, all-time highs in terms of debt being held by the U.S. Treasury, and obviously with rates higher, servicing that, continuing to pay the interest on the debt is higher than ever. So he wants to get that down. And obviously, being a real estate man as well, he wants to boost the real estate sector, which is kind of lagging a little bit, Brendan. Yeah. So we'll see how the Fed decides that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with him on that front, anyways, with the ability to even just go out and afford a home at this point. Starbucks just made a new high there. Quick turnaround, though, 98.50 down to 97.50. Huge move here for Starbucks. Numbers were kind of meh. But China likes coffee. So China good, Starbucks to the upside this morning. VFC makes North Face, Vans, that type of clothing. Yep. A big time here as well, just stalled out again at $15. This thing went out at $12.50 yesterday.
And it's a great reaction here on a somewhat subdued report. To build on your point, Vans is actually holding them back. Yeah. They've been doing quite well, excluding Vans. If they were to remove that sector from their earnings rose 6% year over year, with the strongest being here the North Face as well as Timberland, Ultra. But they actually expect revenue to decline 2 to 4% next quarter on a constant currency basis. Again, being Vans weighing down the operations here, Brendo. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. But good commentary here by the CEO, basically praising the divisions of North Face and Timberland, saying performing well and looking to diversify.
Just noting, Tesla's not really doing anything here, but it keeps, maybe it's a dark print, keeps popping up on a volume reader that I have here, but big battery deal for them. We'll get into that on the rundown. But LG coming on board for $4.3 billion worth on the battery side of things. But yeah, VFC guys, interesting look today. Not a lot of volume here though.
A ton. Probably Starbucks might be a little bit more interesting of those two names. That said, I mean, I guess Timberland's doing well because Shriek's keeping them afloat. Oh, see him in the Tims. At least every now and then. I know you do in the winter. Well, actually, I don't know about that. No, I've seen you. You wore Tims in the summer, dude. Yeah, you did. At least once or twice, I've seen you wear the Tims in the summer, which is fine. It just goes to show they're comfortable and versatile.
Just let everybody know Adara has confirmed. And when that happens, I don't even get involved anymore.
It's comfort. It's about the look.
The style's on point.
Exactly. Whether or not it's
But to your point about Timberlands, yeah.
No, but like I didn't know Vans was holding them back. That said, I think more people might be looking at Starbucks today. Let's just, I don't want to make that assumption, but I feel like that might be true. Apparently you don't have to even have increasing same-store sales. You can have those decrease, I don't know, 6 quarters in a row, and you'll still go higher. The turnaround's in full effect. And you know, Brian Nichols seems to be very confident about this. You know, I don't know if we're going to get this breaking 100 today, but there are fewer, like $100 is $100 psychologically, and it also happens to be the April drop zone. You're holding the 200 period here, regardless of what you think of those earnings. This is going to be a popular level, I think, on Starbucks at $100. That said, it's not even through this triple top on an opening basis that we have at $98. So it's failed it at the open back on the 23rd. It failed it at the open or in the pre-market back there on the 9th, and we've only broken it, this 98, in the pre-market again. So really, like the 98 area is a fresh breakout at the open going into 100 on Starbucks, and it seems like one that's making a nice turnaround. And on top of that, they're looking to maybe sell a good portion of their Chinese business, and they're getting a lot of bids on that. So that could be a way for them to generate some revenue. And yeah, it looks like the recovery is well underway here for Starbucks.
Yeah, I really liked Starbucks. We talked about the up and down there. New CEO Brian Niccol coming through. Dara gave us some disappointing information yesterday that they're now charging for extra matcha, so that's not great. So that was one of her hacks. I never actually even took advantage of that, Adara, so at least you got advantage there for a minute. Yeah, so I'm still on PNW here. A name that I was looking at was Uber for a potential short trade again here today. We had a good look at that yesterday, breaking through $88. We can see if that gets back up to 88. Uber red on the day coming through there. And I just wanted to say, like, we had a good number from Deckers Outdoor the other day. We talked about hookah and whatnot going through, and then now today we get, like, this has had a nice run up right there, and then now today we get VFC Corp as well. So some of the retail names starting to get back into it. Waiting for a name like Lulu or something to start to go. I mean, this has been pretty bad and continues to go lower. I mean, you're not going to see much of a worse chart than this, to be honest with you. That's $410 back in January, down to $214. Many names have doubled off of the tariff lows. Like, you're not going to be able to find too many names that look this bad and are this big of a name. So, Lululemon just continues to get beat up. I think at some point this one has to become a buy. I would like it to say, get this garbage out of here and take out this 250 area, and then we can just pretend that this was a nightmare. But yeah, right now, Lululemon shareholders in trouble on this name. Nike's also had a move back upside. So some of the retail names do work. You just got to be in the right space. And right now, Lululemon, not great. There's Nike. See Nike trying to break out there again? See, look at its April lows right here, $52 up to $80. While Lululemon is like down here, like $30 in relation to that kind of a price. So, yeah, these are bad prints down there. But we're right here. We're on Nike up here at $77. All right. We want to thank yesterday. We got that handmade mallet there. We want to thank David, I guess. What was the handle? We always forget what the handle was. Oh. We did open it yesterday. I think that they're going to try to put something out with that sort of an opening. So we want to thank that for sure. But right now at the bell, it's not time yet to be rung, but it's Adara with upgrades and downgrades.
No bell yet, but a very interesting upgrades and downgrades list today, guys. Spotify kicking things off, very poorly received earnings yesterday. Today, though, getting an upgrade from DZ Bank, though its price target, a little bit of upside from that drop yesterday. Peloton, UBS here, giving this one a positive note. Fubo, another closely watched name by retailers, got a positive note as well. You can read more about that on our watch list. Amazon with an upgrade from Wedbush ahead of its earnings tomorrow, and NVIDIA, one of a handful of semiconductor names, getting a positive note from Morgan Stanley. That's something else you can read more about on our Trader TV Live watch list. Downgrade side of things, Albemarle getting another downgrade here ahead of their earnings report tonight after the bell. This one from KeyBank Capital Management. AMD getting a downgrade from DZ Bank in addition to the positive note it got from Morgan Stanley. Novo Nordisk, after a 21% decline yesterday, now down another 5% with a negative note from Barclays. And last but not least, American Tower with an HSBC Securities downgrade. What a list, guys.
Yeah, what a list. I saw in the chat there, we had South Jersey Jack. Peloton was the best short ever. I beg to differ, sir, because it's still here. And if it's still here, then it's not. There's a few names out there that you could, if something goes bankrupt, it's probably the best short ever. But there's a bunch of things that are reverse split a million times that are better shorts. That said, Peloton, interesting look. But Novo, as far as like continuation goes, we mentioned there's some continuation short opportunities of things that broke down yesterday. Novo would probably be the first on most people's list. What's crazy about it is it's not just that it sold off, Look at it hold the volume weighted average price even after it tried to bounce all day long. That just tells you that, yeah, there might have been sellers, but every time it would even creep up, it's like, oh, gotta sell, gotta sell, gotta sell. So I think that gives you something to work off of. We can short this one for free here at Real Trading. So I'm looking there's a few continuation plays. Novo is going to be one of them. I also like Uber as a continuation short, although that wasn't a negative report. But these guys are in trouble. And we showed this before, and it's actually almost depressing to look at that you have, since the GLP run happened, Novo has given up, like we're sitting at 51 right now. So if you look at when the real breakout happened in 2022, like when it started to go ham, it was from $50. Like, it's insane. Like, Eli Lilly was probably, I don't know, about $200 or something like that, and it's about 8, so it's 4x from about the same time, around that number, and you've now given everything back in Novo Nordisk. When things go parabolic, even if you like the company, it does pay to ring the register a little bit here, because that's just so nasty for them.
All right, I mean, we will be talking about AMD and stuff like that on as we go through our list about semiconductors. There are some big news there. To me, the bigger upgrade, and it's not really, it's just Marvell's trying to break through here on notes about, an old note circulating that they're going to have a $10 billion pipeline from Microsoft, and then their deal with South Korea. And this is probably on our watch list as well when we go through it, but this name in the chip space is interesting to me today, Marvell. So yeah, I just didn't know if it was going to be on the rundown, but it'll probably be on the rundown. So we'll leave it for that. But this is a good name in the chip space for sure. We'll talk about some Marvell. So have a look over there when we get going. And then IBIT right now in Bitcoin, 17.8, coming into some levels as well. So I mean, I think you talked about that Coinbase news. I think that's what's going on here. IBIT, there it is. That's going to be good news for the crypto space. I think the easier it is to transfer over. We talked about transferring in kind yesterday on the after show with Adair. And right now you're getting easier access to Bitcoin and crypto through JP Morgan and Coinbase. So yeah, I think this has a chance to break as well here today. Good support down near the bottom for IBIT. You can see they're sort of near the bottom of its range. It's because crypto hasn't really moved very much intraday lately. But yeah, $66 looks like it wants to hold. That's roughly like 117 or so. So we'll see if that can hold that level. But I'm excited for Bitcoin today. I put out on Twitter here what were people looking at trading this morning. We didn't get too many interesting ideas. But we got Adair say UNH, Circle, and Netflix as well. We got some Robinhood, we got some Cake, we got some AMD and the TQs. The SQs are over here. Mara, AI 92323 wants to look at some Mara. So yeah, I think there's some good crypto plays that are out there as well. So yeah, we're excited to look forward today. And again, 2 o'clock, interest rates. Friday, non-farm payrolls, and then big earnings tonight and tomorrow. So I think the plays are going to have to be early, and you're going to have to be a little specific on what you're doing. So we've got some ideas ready to go here, just trying to figure out the last couple, and then we'll put out our note, and we're going to go back over to the desk with Brendan and Sharif.
Just seeing some of the Chinese names moving lower right now. Visa as well, popping the other direction. It is down on the day, but popping the other direction here, back above 344. Another one to the downside so far this morning. We'll touch on that coming up here. But some of the Chinese names just popping up in front of me here. Not a heck of a lot of volume behind this, but XPeng, yeah, rolling over again. Moving back to the downside after a pretty ugly day yesterday. So across the board, I mean, we were just talking about TikTok there a little bit, and China starts moving lower. So not a coincidence. Let's get a look at the overall market here, though, to kick things off.
6406, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract. So we defend that key 6,400 point area. We maintain that area, in fact, overnight, with the overnight low being 6403, the overnight high 6417. So we're locked in a bit of a range. So we'll use 6,400 as support and that same area that we rejected off yesterday, Brendo, 6,450 as resistance.
Absolutely monstrous day to come. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free every single day. Jump down to the description. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page, and then we just do your homework for you. It's absolutely free, comes right to your inbox every single morning. Check out the watch list. Starbucks, top of this morning. It's been a while since, I mean, it feels like a while anyways. We've been talking positively about this stock, up huge here this morning on China coming through for SBUcks.
Yeah, they're looking to divest some of their China sales, but their China sales are better. Let's talk about how they did globally and domestically. So global same-store sales continue to drop 2% year over year in declines. North America also a drop of 2%, but that was better than expected. Analysts were looking for a 2.5% drop, but that's where the drops end. China, the first positive comp in 6 quarters with a 2% increase in same-store sales, but lower ticket size, so people are not spending as much on the purchases there. Q3 revenue came in at $9.5 billion, beating the estimate of 9.33. Adjusted EPS at 50 pennies. Unclear if that's comparable to the estimate of 65 pennies, which was expected by the street. Net income continued to fall here, Brendo, below the billion, $558 million. Compare that to last year on the quarter when they printed $1.05 billion as a result of a one-time tax and an event cost. Brando, more to say on this one with Gen Z kind of reconnecting here. They're seeing a nice boost from that specific demographic with respect to sales, and they're opening up campuses, campus locations to build on that.
I have, it's been a long time since I've been in a Starbucks, so stop me if you heard this, but I was watching a video of one of the busier locations in New York City in Manhattan, and they actually have a screen now that shows your status, where your order is. Oh. So it's like received, nice, being processed, ready for pickup. So there's 3 different lines. So it kind of gives you a better experience, I guess, guys, if you're waiting in line.
Yeah, I'll cop to not really going into Starbucks, but it doesn't matter because the market's buying what Brian Nichols selling right now, and he's confident in the turnaround. He thinks it's ahead of schedule, and ultimately, you know, it's where people view this in the future, and ultimately. It looks to me so similar. SMCI comes to mind in terms of the pattern. There's nothing, the stocks have nothing to do with each other, but it's just that whole, like, it's doing a stair step up without anything crazy. And you don't wonder, and here, I'll tell you, this is what I mean visually on SMCI. Like, it's doing like the stair step up, like, it'll just break and then consolidate and break and then consolidate and break and consolidate. And you're waiting for that, where's that big, massive 10% kind of day? And after earnings is usually a pretty good opportunity for something along those lines. Like we said earlier, 100 has to break, and we're not even through 98, which is some big support. And every time it's been at 98 in the pre-market or at the open, the last couple times, it has faded. So that's a huge hurdle. If it breaks this in the open market after 9:30, that to me is 98 breaking. And then you work that into 100. I think this is, you know, they got a great leader there, and as you were showing, we were talking about companies off the bottom, right? Like, you know, Lululemon, which is trending to the downside. Well, you know, Starbucks had its trend break a while ago. Like, it was having a rough time. It broke the trend sometime in May, you could argue, call it June, and it's been riding the wave. It just hasn't performed as well as the overall market. There's still some concerns, no questions asked. Same-store sales not really looking that good comparatively the last few quarters. But if you believe in them, then it needs to hold this 98, and then you get the break into 100. And then once you're through 100, all systems go on this stock.
Yeah, look, I have Starbucks. Seems like we're at Starbucks all the time. Look, up 5% right now. I really like the stock. It's actually going to be on the sticky note today for the break of 98.50. I mean, that's the pre-market high right there. Yeah, it's really difficult. Sometimes these breakouts, like, they don't really last very long during earnings, or they just go and you're like, why didn't I take that? So I'm a little nervous that this could be one of those fake and break and fake type of plays right there at 98.50. But, you know, up 5% is nice, but it's not huge. You know, we can get up more than that. That was sort of the implied move. So we're kind of where we need to be now on Starbucks. That little move down there, fine. I think there is some sellers in this name. And as Brennan and everybody had just mentioned there, they didn't have a great quarter. It was just the fact that Brian Nichols now talks about how this is ahead of schedule. The turnaround that he was looking to do on Starbucks is now ahead of schedule. So if that includes China, and obviously these guys ear to the ground, and maybe there's a deal that's more imminent than we think. I think that helps out Starbucks. They talked about that business as well. Luckin Coffee, LKNCY, over here on the pink sheets. I mean, this is $40 name. This continues to rock. I mean, we don't even talk about these names because we're over here on the OTC market and just don't look at them as much as other names and with the earnings and everything happening after hours. But right there, look at what Luckin Coffee's doing. I mean, you don't think this name has been pretty hot? I mean, this is China Coffee. So, nice move to the upside there for them. I think Starbucks continues to work. It's going to be on the note, which is going to be published in just a couple seconds. So I like it, breaking through 98.50. Starbucks again on earnings. A good report, not great, but it's more about the guide. That's what earnings are. We've already seen the stock. The stock's already been barcoding here on a daily for a while, and now you're trying to break out. So we've traded Starbucks beautifully in the past. Unfortunately, we didn't buy anything down here. We bought this dip initially and were able to get out. Now we'll wait to see Starbucks, what it does now at this $100 marker. I still think it has $100 pegged to it today. So if it has $100 on it today, the 98.50 must be pretty good. So let's just wait to see on Starbucks. Maybe patience is the right way to play this. I don't want it to just rip into 98.50. Hopefully it can get up there. The market can open up, and then a couple minutes in, we can see a test of that level. So 98.50 long on Starbucks. I like it. I think the stock needs to work. Retail is still pretty strong. Rates don't seem to be going anywhere. But look what's happening with the NASDAQ right now. A nice little pullback. 10 straight minutes of downside right now for the NASDAQ. And a name like Starbucks is holding up. So maybe that means something. All right, let's go back over to the desk and maybe find out why this NASDAQ's dropping. I don't know.
All right, SoFi gives it all back here. It's worth noting as well, just quickly for SBUcks, there's 3 or 4 analysts reiterating overweight on Starbucks as well. But yeah, SoFi gives it all back from yesterday on this offering here this morning. We're right back to those levels from last week.
Yeah, $1.5 billion in common stock, Brendo. That's the offering. Goldman Sachs going to underwrite this, acting as the lead underwriter. The deal includes a 30-day option as well for the underwriters to buy an additional 15% of the offered shares. The funds here, they kind of give general descriptions. They say general corporate purposes for working capital as potential business development or acquisition opportunities. But with what's been happening lately, you got to really wonder, Brendo, whether or not there's going to be any crypto additions to the balance sheet here. ETH, maybe Doge, who knows what SoFi's thinking.
Yeah, interesting timing on that. Obviously, if they get that move off of the earnings report, why not, take that opportunity to do this? I was just noting there's still a number of positive analyst notes this morning, even with this, guys. Today, Needham included on that, maintaining their buy on SoFi.
No, that's how they do, And look, it was a great quarter, but offering's an offering, and SoFi's history of there being sellers on earnings day just continues to be true. Like it broke early, but it spent most of the open session. Like if you look at the first 15-minute candle, that was the high. It made the high in the first 15-minute candle. It's been most of the day just trending right back in. So I go back to square one. Before earnings, it closed at $21. I like close prices more than I like open prices, so that's the first place I'm keying off of. I think if we can get above 21, there's a gap that can be filled, but underneath 21, I'm going to be favoring the short trade on SoFi. If we get down there, it's worth noting that 20 even was a big buy support at 20 on the 22nd in here. But yeah, the 21 levels where I'm keying off of, just go back to the prior close before the earnings, and let's see if it can chew through that level. But I want to short that pop into the 21 area on SoFi. But I still think on the longer time frame, because we were talking about this yesterday, when we look at the monthly chart, oh, that did that again, on SoFi, it still looks really, really good in terms of you probably have it'd be a next month thing to try to break out this top through the all-time high on SoFi, but it's a great looking setup there. You're just going to have to wait for that breakout probably sometime in the back half of the year.
Yeah, look, yesterday on the sticky note, we had written it down, and it was right into here. SoFi looking to get that pre-market long break on earnings, and that's AMD right there. There's SoFi. That's what we did. So as Neil said, there's our break long yesterday, right on the show live, and there's our 25, and there's our outs. A bunch of outs littered out there at 25. So that was a good one right there for us yesterday. But of course, that was earnings day. So there's that break. Here's us getting out, and then we actually at the end of the day, we shorted, which was actually in my opinion, a little bit of a better. This was a great trade. We made all our money here, but this made a lot of sense as we watched this 50-period moving average just come right back into the downside there, into the close. So we actually made money long and short yesterday. So props up no matter which way you were going yesterday on SoFi. SoFi was the #1 stock here yesterday. So there's the move down back into $22 again. I think that's a good break level. I just put out the sticky note's going to be out in a second, but I do have SoFi written down here, and what I wrote down was, what about this 2050 area that we just keep on bouncing off of here low? So I'm going to wait to see, try to be some patience with this name. Again, an offering that gets dropped doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with the business. So we're going to just play off of a good earnings report and hope that we can hold down here at 2050. So for me, SoFi's a long down there at $20.50. So it being down 7% might be a nice benefit. Remember, we got out yesterday at $24 as well on our own account. I actually went to check to see how much percentage of our position we got out. But once we broke through 24 right there on the rip up, we got out on that daily candle, as Neil just mentioned. So yeah, you know, I could take advantage of that now, rebuy this name down 20% or so from where it was yesterday. But I'm going to wait a minute to see what happens with SoFi here today. $20 could be a key level. So between 20 and 20.50, why not take a shot there? So yeah, that's what we're doing there. Yeah, good call there by Juan Padilla as well. That was your #1 P&L. So congratulations to that one. I'm glad some of you followed that trade.
Before we get back to the desk, Eddie's back with a super chat. Eddie Sarkeesian, thank you so much for the super chatting here. UNH should be a great buy. No? Well, Explorer 4464 is probably saying the thing that I was saying recently with this name. And I don't think, not yet. I think there's going to be a value there. There's no question about it when it comes to UNH. But it just retook the downward trend. I'm waiting for this thing to either get the 50-period moving average or show me. It's like the 220 level, if you go really, really far back out, I believe, is an interesting level. So either it gets way down there, or let's have it actually show you some strength over the 50 period. Just nothing good going on for them. And then we have a good one from Mike Lowry. Mike Lowry gonna be all right. Forget about Will Smith. I have like this Martin Lawrence bit in my head from, I don't know if you ever watched Martin.
Yeah.
There's this scene with him and Tommy Davidson where they're at the radio station and he's like, yo, I need to get them yams. He's talking about like that cash. I got bills to pay. And then that got turned into a song a couple of years ago by some randos. And then Fetty Wap remade that song. And I can't get that ish out of my, it's so catchy and I can't get it out of my head. I'll find it for you. I'll send you a link of it. But do you guys have classes to help set up charts and know what to look for? Onesie love to learn. Okay, so we don't have classes for how to set up charts. What you can do is, you know, a video like that for like our setup actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know if we did a video just like that, but feel free to ask us any questions, what our preferences are. I can tell you, like, very simply on a daily chart, like there's a 50 and a 200 on a SMAs on a daily, and I use candlesticks and I have volume up. You know, I always make sure I have volume on there, but my charts are very simplistic, and I like multiple time frames. You know, 3-minute, 15-minute daily charts. Sometimes I'll have a 60-minute for the futures, but that's about it. We don't have a specific video, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, good idea. All right, we're going to be dropping some things soon, so stay tuned for all of that. All right, it's time now to talk about VFC and the retail space.
Some bands.
Just be aware, they're showing this Pan W deal on CNBC again, so if you're watching Pan W or that CyberArk stock could be moving. Q's downside right now. Just wanted to update everyone. We're back below that early pre-market support level. VFC, meanwhile, hanging out here basically where it was earlier. $15 seems to be a bit of an issue. So far here, we are kind of just chopping around between $14.85 and $15, so a beat here for VF Corp.
Absolutely, and 20% in the green. Not a bad report at all, Brendo. A good reaction from the market, but they do expect Q2 revenue to decline about 2 to 4% on a constant currency basis. The Vans brand, as I mentioned earlier in the show, continues to weigh on performance, prompting a cautious outlook for the quarter. Here's how they did. Q2 net loss came in at about 30 pennies loss per share, improving though from the 39 penny loss loss they lost last year on the quarter, with an adjusted EPS being about 24 pennies. That beats the street's expectation of a 34 penny loss, with operating income guidance here between $260 to $290 million. For the Q1 revenue landed at $1.67 billion. That was flat and down 2%, believe it or not, on a constant currency basis. Analysts had actually forecasted a sharper drop, about $1.7 billion, so the results came in better than feared. Excluding Vans, though, total revenue rose 6% year over year, with strong showings from the North Face, Timberland, and Ultra. And Bracken Darrell, CEO Bracken Darrell, praised the momentum in those divisions, the North Face and Timberland, saying they performed well, and he's disappointed with Vans.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, pretty light on volume. I mean, you still see, every once in a while, I still see somebody at the gym wearing those.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with them. I don't even know why they're being spoken so badly about. I don't follow them, though.
No, same. Not a lot of volume here, guys, for VF Corp today.
Well, you know what? It's not that bad volume. It's over a million shares. Like, it's doing relative volume for sure. I'm not as huge of a fan when you've already, I think you got UGAP. Now there's almost no action happening in here. We talked about Starbucks. I'm more inclined to be looking at some day two plays. And I think this would probably more qualify as a day two play if it's above 15 bucks. Like, look at that big 15 level. It's already failed it a couple times in the pre-market. So if it can't hold above 15, like, that's where you want it to break away from. I'd be afraid that you're just going to fill in the gap on relatively light volume. So I'm looking at day two earnings plays. I think VFC is a good retail comeback story, and I believe as we've been talking about, whether it's retail, we were just mentioning UNH, some of these stocks that have not been participating in the market rally are doing a little catch up, and they've got room to run. This falls into that category. I just would prefer a little bit more volume. No, I'm looking at PayPal off the 70 and the 71. Day two play downside, where it bounced off 70 and then held 71. That afternoon short, it held 71 like an absolute charm, and its SSR today was down hit 10% down. So I'm looking for the bounce first off 71. If that fails, I'll take a shot at this off the 70 level as well. I'm more likely to trade that than I am in VFS. But yeah, nice recovery for them, and I own a pair of Tims still. You know, I wear them in the winter, not in the summer.
Isn't that damn Daniel get part of them jeans or whatever, those white Vans right into there? But what am I typing in here? Right there, VFC. Okay, there it is right there. So 1.60 million. Yeah, when you look at the level two here, it didn't look like it was cleaned up there enough. But yeah, 1.6 million shares coming through right now. You know, a good level. Looks like it wants to break higher. You know, we talk about when you outperform, and right now this $15 long looks like pretty good to me, regardless of what we're up now. Shorts are going to have to cover. There's obviously some shorts into this name right now. So we are, my daughter's skates just showed up right there at the house. So hopefully, here we go. They're now in there. Hopefully they fit her. Like I was saying, she's a size 6 in her shoe. So we got her size 4 for skates. So we'll see. Hopefully those can fit her. It was a good deal there at CCM. So anyways, this $15 break there. I did want to just quickly check, because we haven't mentioned the short float on this name. If this is anywhere like north of 10%, I think that this does have, and I'm just going to assume that it does have a really good chance to run there today. Wow, just barely north. 11% short right now. Conference call has concluded there off their Q1. So yeah, I mean, I think this can go breaking through $15. So let's just say that does happen. It's going to. You take the long, and I think you just play it back to VWAP. We always talk about that. When there's a gap, play to VWAP. So wait for it to break. VWAP right now is at 1480. It's been pretty consistent all morning. So we're not too worried about it right now. But if it does break that 15, maybe you just wait for this pre-market break of 15.15 and then use VWAP as your out. I don't think it's very risky to do that. You know, the spread should tighten up here once the market opens, and you get a 15.20, let's just say, with slippage long. Give yourself 40 cents. I think that trades works. So I like VF Corp there, especially if you can get the break of that pre-market high. Otherwise, let it settle down a couple minutes. But I like VFC here off that number, up 20%. How can't you like it with an 11% short float? I think for those of you that like to push some names around and look for names that can be pushed, this is definitely one of them. Only $15 right now. It's going to be cheap to buy the options as far just a dollar price wise there. So I like it. I think there's a good chance for this to go. VF Corp now on my radar, that's for sure.
Make sure you're with us at 4 o'clock tonight. Absolutely monstrous names, not only tonight to come through with earnings, but tomorrow as well. Meta, Microsoft, Hood, QCOM among those tonight.
It's going to be big, Brendo, and Hood. Yeah, you mentioned Hood, sorry. So here's what we're expecting. Let's talk about Meta and Microsoft, the two big names. For Meta, we're expecting EPS to come in at $5.88 on revenue of $44.8 billion. That's what the street is expecting. 98% of Meta's revenue still comes from Facebook and Instagram. They've invested about $55 billion year to date in AI data centers, and the hiring spree, it continues with more poaching for Meta's super intelligence lab. But we will be on the lookout for comments, Brendo, specifically about Temu and Shein, who are actually about 11% of the advertising revenue for Meta. They've been advertising less ever since the de minimis rule kind of put the kibosh on that $800 kind of workaround for imports. Wall Street will watch whether new low-cost advertisers could possibly fill their place, so that's Meta right there. Now, with respect to Microsoft, we're expecting EPS to come in at $3.38 on revenue of $73.8 billion. Azure cloud revenue will certainly be in focus. Analysts are expecting 35% growth rate ahead of that 33 we printed last year on the quarter. Copilot and AI software demand will also be closely watched. And CapEx. Like Meta, they've been spending big money here with full year 2026 CapEx growth expected to drop a little bit, Brendo, from Softy anyway. Last thing here, strong performance from ServiceNow is kind of being looked as a read-through for cloud demand. So we'll have to see how their cloud division done. 22% year to date in the green.
Yeah, make sure you're again with us tonight at 4 o'clock. We'll get that going. On that note, Meta, it doesn't actually say from Zuckerberg, it just says Meta. Comments here, developing superintelligence is now in sight. And also superintelligence will raise novel safety concerns. So we'll hear more about that, I'm sure. Coming up tonight, absolutely huge on both of these charts right now, guys.
Huge, and I'm sure you'll hear some Mag 7 names talk about India. So let's talk about it for VinFast, everybody. They just opened its very first showroom there, and they're not stopping. The planned 35 dealerships across 27 cities by year end. And yes, pre-bookings are already live. This all comes ahead of their CKD plant launch. VinFast isn't just entering India, they're planting the flag. If you're tracking deliveries, this is a textbook move to power their 200,000 vehicle global target for 2025. Scan the QR code you see in front of you for more information. Shout out to VinFast. And go Meta. Yeah, well, yesterday it was go to the downside Meta. Someone has been selling this in the 720s, as you can obviously tell. I'm not a huge fan of trying to trade this one going into earnings, but we talked about the hyperscalers, and we're going to get a couple of them today. It's so important to see that CapEx spend continue if we're looking to continue to ride the wave in some of the energy names and some of the chip names as well, speaking of NVIDIA. So I think that's one thing we'll be keying in on. And if we don't want to trade Meta, necessarily want to trade Meta going into the earnings, reminded that Alphabet already did report, and Alphabet already did beat, and Alphabet was strong yesterday, and Alphabet also had massive CapEx spending that the market decided not to punch them for. So look, this was trending the entirety of the day. When the market was at the lows and trending down, this was trending up. So I think we'll wait for the reports on the other two, and then I want to trade the one that already reported and finally broke away from this 3.5-day consolidation that it had with 194 top and 191 bottom. Long back into the 194 first stop, and if that loses, I wait for 191. Strong name yesterday, Alphabet, and hopefully we'll be saying the same thing about Meta come tomorrow.
Okay, so yeah, right here, Microsoft and Meta platforms both expected to move 4% and 6% respectively, with Meta being the bigger move here tonight. So yeah, there's going to be good ones. You could definitely check it out. Market Chameleon, Dara will have some pretty cool graphics and whatnot set forward and ready to go for Trader TV research. So make sure you do check that out as well. But right there on Meta, I think it's a buy ahead of earnings, but that's kind of the only time I ever really did that was Marvell, and that's just because it was like down into here and just thought there was movement to the upside. Obviously Marvell has worked out for me, but I don't think you want to step into any of these names just quite yet. We wait for that CapEx number to make sure that everything is all good. We know that Mark Zuckerberg's been looking at and employing more and more engineers to come through. So there's something in the pipeline there. I like to hear about Oculus, I like to hear about those glasses as well to make sure that ad spending is still where it is. Want to hear the plan for WhatsApp. Can they monetize that? Are they going to start to charge for WhatsApp? I believe yes, they will, even if it's $5 a month or something like that. I think that they'll probably do that, and then we'll see if people continue with WhatsApp or not. But yeah, we're not far away. That 6% move gets us through. So either you're 6% down, 6% on 70, you're looking for a $50 move or so, one way or the other, give or take. So if you get that $50 move, that breaks the high right there. And if you get that $50 move, then you come back into the 200 period moving average of the downside. So as long as it moves sort of as expected, I think we're going to have some great trading tomorrow on Meta. Microsoft, I used to trade this name a lot. I always feel like it's too expensive right now. I don't know, $513. This is a little different where it's near and at the highs, all-time highs there for Microsoft. So if I could pick one to outperform the other, I think Microsoft wins here today, just based on what this chart looks like. It's like straight up, just like nothing stopping Microsoft right now. We had a good number on cloud. Google looked like a champion company once again. So I say go for it right there today. If you're going to pick a long, I would think Microsoft eventually is the one there. Marvell comes with a sell, so that's hitting that to the downside. We are excited to get this 84.50 level. I don't know if that's going to come through there. That's actually 85 clean from yesterday. Looking at the pre-market high break of 84 might be something right now. Marvell heading to the downside here off earnings. PNW catches a little bit of a bid, but that's near lows. And Neil just talked about Google. That got a sell as well. So, all right, 4 minutes left. Let's go back over to the desk and talk about Tesla.
Yeah, here's the headline this morning real quick. LG Energy Solutions coming through with a $4.3 billion battery and energy storage supply deal here for Tesla.
It's a good look here, Brendo. It's for these lithium iron phosphate batteries, LFPs. Now, if you're wondering what's so good about these and why they're being used, longer lifespan. They can typically last more charges, more cycles, improved safety, and lower cost and eco-friendliness. So you'll see a lot of these EV companies try to push into these LFP batteries. So they're going to be built for Tesla at LG's Michigan factory. So we don't have to worry about the imports and reducing reliance on China, obviously. The deal will run from August 2027, so in a couple of years, all the way to July 30th, with an option to extend 7 years and increase volume. Tesla CFO, had flagged that tariffs on Chinese LFP imports were disproportionately affecting the energy storage division. Now let's build on that energy storage division. Tesla's energy business now makes up about 10% of all the revenue, outpacing its EV unit, actually. And Elon Musk emphasized battery demand on the last earnings call, saying not many people appreciate how gigantic this is. Obviously, he has an affinity for hyperbole, but you can take that for what it's worth. And Tesla does plan, Brendo, to start in-house LFP production in Nevada by year end, but it's going to be a small share of how much it uses.
Worth noting here, it didn't move on this. IBIT, I was just having a look at here. The Trump administration has released its crypto report and apparently omits details on Bitcoin strategic reserve once again. So again, Bitcoin did not really do much on that, but worth noting.
Yeah, interesting. I think the big crypto news today is going to be that JP Morgan Coinbase partner up, and Coinbase is very strong off of that. But as far as Tesla goes, it's been it's been a little bit choppy since the earning. But when I look at the monthly, we're holding a pretty good trend, and it looks like nothing crazy is going to happen in the last couple of days. I don't think that could possibly break this nice upward trend on the monthly for Tesla. So as long as we hold the $300, I like that higher low that we're putting in for sure. And I don't think we get to that level today. I didn't it didn't make the list because I like the teens. It was at 316 area for the buy. And I don't think too much has changed for me post earnings. That's the area that I want to be a buyer in front of on Tesla. So it's unlikely. It could happen. We could easily get there on Tesla. Tesla moving $6 is not impossible, but it's not going to be the front of the mind. We didn't mention NVIDIA or any of the chips, I don't think. Pretty sure we didn't. But NVIDIA had a wall all afternoon just underneath 177, and the same thing is happening right here. If this takes out 177, I think you get a quick little push to the upside. It's a similar thing at about $60 on SMCI.
So, quick super chat from On the Rail here talking about SFM. It has earnings today and it should be good long-term position. Should be good long with a large position. Thoughts and opinions. What's up On the Rail there? Again, we don't have Sprouts Farms here in Canada as far as I know, but a health-based grocery store. I was just reading up on it there. Health conscious. I think that's a good spot to be in. You know, Amazon bought out Whole Foods many years ago. Of course, they haven't really done too much with it, I don't think. But yeah, coming back into the 200 period moving average again ahead of earnings. If you like the name, I think you probably know what you're doing. So I would say above this 150, it's good to go. This has been a monster of a stock, SFM, and I don't really know too much about it. But again, thanks for that note there. Obviously, an interesting name, and you know, as more health conscious individuals. Have a lot of money, obviously, and continue to shop at SFM. So I think it's going to be a good one. Just looking here, we're waiting for AMD, NVIDIA, and all that to go. We are now on the bell. We want to thank our viewer for the new mallet there with only 10 seconds left. Yes, as we go, it's a great one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're looking at Starbucks, Marvell, NVIDIA, all ready to go. NVIDIA for my break would be 177. We just got into something, just broke right there. What was it? We're into one position right now. As you can see, it's Starbucks. So here goes Starbucks. We take that 98.50 break, I thought, but we're in it right now. Let's see if we can get some out at 70s. There it is, a little out there now. Our first trade of the day is a Starbucks long break. We only get something out there at 75. Now we have to wait and suffer through this as it comes back into the downside. Watch out for the NASDAQ. It's Starbucks right now. Little interesting right here off of earnings. We're long already.
Yeah, Starbucks a big name after earnings, so no breakout on Alphabet yet, or SMCI is underneath 60, and NVIDIA is not breaking 177. Obviously, we're looking a little bit at Tesla. If it wants to drop, but it's not making any moves. Whoa, did we break?
What happened?
Oh, no, one of my level 2s. Yeah, okay, I got the fill, so we must have broken. Yeah, we broke. On Google. That was it was weird. I think one of my level 2s was frozen a little bit. I was seeing like 90s when this level broke on Alphabet, so it's trying to go.
Starbucks a little bit there.
And I got to look up because NVIDIA is pretty close to the break as well. So I'm looking to get some out in front of the quarter at first. I'm giving this back into the 75 area. And apologies if my mic is having some issues.
Oh no, again.
It's like every single morning. Thank you, Fabian, if you fixed that. All right, so we're into one trade. It's just Alphabet. I keep looking up, but NVIDIA is not yet at that 177 level for its potential break. And SoFi 21, still looking for a play there as well.
Oh, SoFi 21, okay. So we'll slap a little bit of a fail right there. We're now into Marvell as Marvell now breaks a little bit longer, but Starbucks does not go. It's going the other way. So it hits a key level there. We get busted out of that one. So right now it's Starbucks downside. If this breaks 97.50, there it goes. We're out now. Starbucks with an L on that one. So we're into other names though. It's NVIDIA and Marvell now. So my attention changing over to all of these names as let's see what NVIDIA can do for us right here, right now. 177.10. Let's put an offer. Oh, we just put a wrong price there. But let's put one into the 30s now and see if we can get something out now on NVIDIA. Hopefully that can climb a little bit. And then Marvell on what I thought was going to be some decent news here. They take out that 84.30 level that we liked long as well, but it's not really moving. So we're not getting the sort of the movement that we had thought we would get here early on many of these names. All breakout plays, but spreads are quite large here. We got to be patient with what's happening here in this marketplace. Marvell, fake and break and fake right now, it looks like. Back down to the downside. Watch out for an 83 break, and then we can just regroup. All of these stocks started to go early, and we got punched into some key levels, but the market is heading south side.
I was about to say,
so yeah, market say
lost
no.
That prior high on Google, so I'm out at the quarter mark when it happened. I could have taken maybe 15 or 20 cents on it, but I was offering past the 1-to-1. NVIDIA is still going, so that's at least, I mean, it's trying to get through the quarter itself. It already took it once. I'm sitting at 33, I think. Yeah. Anyway, it's just got filled. So NVIDIA is continuing to rally, but not that great over on Google. I do want to take another shot at it. If I get another chance at Alphabet, I do want to take another shot. SoFi is the other thing. Day 2 play, SoFi with a 1.5 offering after what was good earnings.
Damn, come on, NVIDIA.
It goes right into 2090, and of course, that's when I'm getting filled in NVIDIA. So I could have had that short at the 90 level. I'll be patient on the way back to the upside. It's above the volume weighted average price here on SoFi, so I do want to be a little bit careful with that one.
Yeah, we were able to get some advantage there. We looked over and like, oh my God, NVIDIA's ripping. It went to 177.50, so we do have that long. Okay, here comes, come on, man. Give me some more out of 20 there if we can get it, okay. Hopefully this can go back up. We are at 177.45 again to see if we can get something out near the high end of NVIDIA with, again, an upgrade on the name. You know, like the chip space, I've liked that for a while. If the market goes, hopefully we can get a nice go here with NVIDIA. We're also trying to get Marvell. We're not trying to do anything. We're just waiting to see if Marvell wants to go as well. Right back to flat on this name. We did try to buy the dips on Marvell there, but we weren't super aggressive just because of how our day's been going so far. Not great with the breakouts, right? So Starbucks was horrible. That's now down even lower right now, down to $95 actually. Might be worth looking at buying something down here as well. More on Starbucks, but Marvell they're fading out as well. Wow, I mean these names are good. They're not right now. They're not going. Yeah, the market's trying to come back upside, and we don't have these huge winners today like we were hoping for. But Starbucks could still be in there. We just got to maybe buy a little bit more on this dip off of 95.
Well, NVIDIA is looking absolutely fine, but it's
yeah.
You know, the market is trying to battle back here. By the way, PayPal, remember 71 in PayPal? That's another one I'm looking for here, but it's not there yet, about 71 and a half. Looking for it to get down to 71 for the SSR bounce. We already talked about NVIDIA. Got out when we broke down on Alphabet, waited for it to bounce off the volume-weighted average price. Why is the scaling? Oh, that's why. I have to get rid of this little thing down there, and the scaling will be better on that chart. But bought the VWAP dip here on Alphabet. Prefer to trade them as opposed to the names that are reporting tonight. You know, it's not that you can't trade names on the day of earnings. I'd just rather trade something where we know and we have some price action post. Market's starting to come back in here, looking pretty good. I'm not offering again on NVIDIA till we get into the 178 level. And we're trying to get this back above 196 over here in Alphabet. The other thing is I did want short in SoFi, and it's trying to lose VWAP. I'm not going to get these 2090s again. It's just determined not to let me in front of 21 even. But I'm going to throw an offer a little bit lower, like in the low 90s, and see if I get picked up. But once this is through 21, I don't want to fight SoFi. We know how that can squeeze.
Oh man, we lost too much money on Starbucks, but man, we made some money here on Marvell and NVIDIA. So far so good there again on these names. Marvell, huge upside right there. Shouldn't have messed with Starbucks. We got hit on that. I mean, there goes Starbucks again. We tried to buy some 95s. It is actually making a huge move to the downside right now, SBUX. That's too bad because we've got some nice winners to sort of, it's just going to be one for the other. Marvell right now, good level there, breaking through 84.50. We like that one. Running into a little bit of trouble here at 85 as Marvell gets that sort of, not an upgrade, but gets talked about there as they're signed a deal with North Korea there for some of their AI chips, and then a good talk about them and Microsoft. So that's a good one. NVIDIA, again, trying to do its own thing here. The market just had a nice move up, and we did take advantage of it. So I'm pretty happy with our trading here on NVIDIA today. Oh, sorry, that's still Marvell right here on NVIDIA as we just got out some. Again, we told you we're waiting at 177.50, so we do that twice right there. It's actually 177.45. We'll see what happens on that one right now. I still like Starbucks down here, but it's going to have to get going at some point back there to the upside. I guess this number was not as loved yesterday as possible. There. We were up about 5 or 6% at the highs for Starbucks and now faded down pretty good. So there's the first break there, 98.50. Should not have obviously taken that as you're down now $5. But let's see if it wants to continue to work out now back up to the upside here. Starbucks debating taking a break here of 95.10 or so, but give it one more shot maybe on Starbucks, but that's being a little stubborn. So, all right, let's go back over to Adara.
Keep an eye here on MO Altria Group. They did post a double beat this morning and raise their guidance. An earnings winner pushing higher today. MO, guys. Back to you.
Ooh, look at them. I just turned to Sean and said, man, Coinbase is really giving back that move. And it just bounced $4. The partnership with JPM, they like it a lot. I think that's a good one for them. Maybe you can get back to that 400 level. Just want to make sure we're tracking some things that you guys are watching. I see coin is blasting SMCI. Oh no, I'm in NVIDIA and not SMCI. SMCI, yeah, it's doing it again. And sometimes this is how it is. Sometimes AMD is better than NVIDIA. I haven't checked AMD yet. And sometimes SMCI is better than NVIDIA just for momentum on the day. This feels like it's going to be one of those days, the price action early. First available dip into 60. I'm going to try and pick this one up. Alphabet, we're only in two names here, Alphabet and NVIDIA. Sorry, yeah, that's right. I'm trying to get into SMCI. We just failed 196 again on Google. So the breakout didn't work. The VWAP dip got back to the highs, but it's failing that 196 level. I want to see the buyers above 96, above the breakout price. Then I'll feel a heck of a lot better about this move. As far as the shorts go, not really in SoFi yet, and I'm not going to rush to it in the open range. If we didn't get that first initial push on SoFi to get the short at 21, it's holding highs, holding VWAP. So I don't feel any need to rush into this trade. I can always try to get it back through the volume weighted average price, which reminds me of a pattern that I'm just going to repeat. Every single day, if Intel in the first 15 minutes fails a breakout of the high, then you short it into VWAP after it goes down. So if that happens again, which it looks like it's happening again, then I will do that one more time on Intel. But that's the only chip name I'm looking to the south side. What else are you guys watching here? I know there's that SGD, which is was blasting to the upside. Not so much anymore. But look at that. Holding the prior highs, everybody, at that 160. That's what we put in the chat. Always important, but be careful. This is a halt candidate if it breaks those lows. It's a $2 stock, doesn't have to move that much to go into a halt. It could be a big drop if it loses the 160. When it lost that in the afternoon yesterday, it dropped about 30, 40 cents in one shot. So be careful with SGD, but it's holding for now at a key support level.
All right, just asking my wife how those hockey skates are going. All right, yeah, we just tried again, Starbucks there at 93. It didn't work, so I was like, okay, maybe that was another hold, but we'll get a little bit stubborn there and try it a couple times. But really, it was just the first trade. Once that didn't work, we could have and should have stayed away from that one. But man, oh man, nice move downside right there for SBULKNCY. I want to see if Luck and Coffee was sort of following that. It's not doing anything. Did they? I don't know. I was just looking at it because of Starbucks there again. Right. Let's move off of that for a second. Marvell. So we did, noticing that it wasn't really moving out. Again, right there, we did get some outs right there on Marvell near 85. It's coming right back into VWAP, so that's going to be interesting there. Whenever you get a move down like this, I think it is worth looking at again for Marvell. Wow, that Starbucks is now 92.
Luckin did report last night.
Oh, they did? Okay, well, I'm surprised they don't have much volume.
Or this morning, maybe?
Maybe it was the day before. All right, so Marvell coming in right now, 83 and change. We'll try to buy a little bit of this dip up right now, but if it breaks 83, then we're gone right there on Marvell. I mean, I think that's where I put my stop anyways, was it? Yeah, a little bit of a break there coming in. So if that does happen, we're going to get out. But a fade back into VWAP there makes a little bit of sense with this market doing what it's doing. So for right now, not the greatest trade right there on Marvell. I know you've been looking at SoFi. I don't want to talk about all the same names. We've been looking at 2050 as a possible hold, but pretty choppy right now for SoFi. So I think we can kind of just look away at that now. Tesla on the move again here early, 321, 320 might have just held there pretty nicely on Tesla, and then a nice bump to the upside. Looks like NVIDIA's trying to go back, just went into 60 and fell again. So let's see if NVIDIA wants to do something here. Looks like Adair's got something for us.
Yeah, just be aware here. FXI bouncing nicely here off these pre-market lows. We do have some comments coming from China's Foreign Minister Wang, calling for further negotiation channels with the U.S., just saying that they need better ways, I guess, for communication and consultation, but saying that they want that China and the U.S. should be avoiding conflicts and confrontations. So seeming here pretty open to talking from China's Foreign Minister Wang, similar, I guess, sentiment to what we got with China and the U.S. yesterday as well. So we're doing Hang Seng Index did not have a good day last night, but FXI, as I mentioned, nice morning so far. No economic data, at 9:45, but at 10 a.m., we will get some pending home sales numbers. I'll give those for you guys right on the desk. Back to you.
All right. Oh, no. Hold on a second.
Thank you very much, Dara.
We can barely hear that one, but thank you, Adara. I appreciate you for sure. Lots in the way of data today, but obviously bigger when we get the Fed doing absolutely nothing, everybody. So let's lots in the way of data today.